This plugin will take your melodies from this to sounding like this. I'm about to show you 4 different Pluto effects that can create insane possibilities for your sound. And throughout this video, I'm gonna show you a couple of my sound design tricks to sprinkle in that you can really take this plugin and push it to the next level. So I'm gonna start off with my favorite effect, which is the Granular Delay. So down here, you have your 4 different effects sections, and this is the delay. So you wanna click it, make sure it's turned on by clicking this button. And then over here, it starts on tape delay, so you wanna make sure and switch it over to Granular Delay. And let me show you what it's gonna do to this normal little guitar stem. You can hear all the little audio bits kind of being sprinkled on top of the sound. So what's happening is that Pluto takes little pieces of your audio stream and sprinkles them back into the sample. The grain count is essentially how many of these audio bits are being sprinkled in. The grain size is how big of the actual audio clip is it going to use. And the feedback is essentially how long is the tail. Same thing of like a decay on a reverb. So just for the example, I'm gonna jack up the amount to make it full wet. And I'm gonna use this little reverse button, which is a little secret trick. What it's gonna do is it's gonna make it sound like this crazy ghost delay. And I'm gonna find a good setting for it. Now you have this crazy granular delay, but what you want to do now, you want to dial back the mix knob and have it sprinkled in with the original sound. Let me add a little bit of reverb to go with it. And now that I have added a lot of character to this guitar stem, let me play the beat all together so you can see how much emotion this really adds to the overall song. That guitar lead all of a sudden went from being, you know, kind of more of a raw sounding guitar to having just so much character and like kind of a little weirdness sprinkled into it that sounds amazing. So now I want to show you the next part of the plugin that can really bring your sounds to life, which is the wow flutter and the mod effects. So for this example, I actually just want to play a raw serum sound on a MIDI. I'm going to bring down the sustain real quick. Pretty basic sound, very raw sounding. But now I want to show you what Pluto does and how it's just going to evolve this sound into something completely new. So the first effect we're going to add is the wow flutter. Okay, a wow is just a slower pitch modulation and a flutter is a very fast one. But the cool thing about this plugin is you can actually blend the two. And what this does is essentially just adding vibrato to your sound. Think about something like an organic instrument like a violin. It has a lot of vibrato built into it. And so does something like the human voice. And that natural change and unperfect pitch is actually something that the human ear really likes. So instead of sounding like this raw serum sound or raw synth sound, if you just add a little bit of this wow flutter, you can get a much more organic sounding synth. And the funny thing is, like, if I turn this all the way up to 100 and like, let's just put on the flutter mode, you'll hear how it's just going out of key. But if you dial it back and find the sweet spots, it brings it to life. Let me show you, this is gonna sound bad, and then listen to me dial it back to the right spot. You're gonna get so much more out of it just with this first effect alone. Now let's go ahead and move on over to the mod effects. So this is gonna be your flanger, your chorus, as well as your phaser, okay? Keep in mind actually, with all the Pluto effects, a lot of this stuff sweet spot is between like 30 and 60% on these mix knobs. This big mix knob always represents the different effect you're on. And make sure this light is on because that's the on and off switch. So for this one, I added a flanger to it, and this is gonna add a little bit of warmth and body to it. Almost all these effects are. And if you dial it in, you can really just add a lot of character to like this raw sound that we're having here. Now I'm gonna show you that same granular delay trick that we did earlier and add a little bit of reverb and just listen to how this sound comes to life. I'm gonna turn it off. Way different, okay? And now I'm gonna just play the beat contextualized so you can hear everything kind of come together. can still even when I stop the song, you can hear all those little bits going crazy from the granular delay. Okay, so one other cool trick is if you already have a really cool Pluto preset like what we've created here, you actually should try out other sounds. So here's just a raw FL keys, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it down the same preset and show you the before and after, because I'm gonna have another sick sound. Now let me run it in. As you can see, by adding in a piano with the same effects chain, you can actually create a lot more extra variations. One extra thing I did in Serum to really spice it up, it's a similar preset, but down here on the bottom right, there's this gliding knob. And if you switch it to always and you turn it up, all the notes will glide. And just by adding a little bit, it'll change the whole sound. And that one actually used a variation preset on Pluto, but as you can see, I took that same sound and I'm able to get so much more out of the melodies. It's no longer just one, you can get like 10 out of it, easy. Next up is the holy grail of vibes, which is Pluto's plate reverb. Get ready, because you're about to hear Pluto go crazy. As you can see, it just instantly turns into something wild. And the crazy part is I didn't even use the granular delay. To do this effect, it's really simple. You just load up Pluto to a sound. You want to jack the reverb amount probably pretty high, around 80. You could do to 100, but it's going to be a bit much. And then what you want to do is you want to switch this right here from hall reverb over to shimmer, and then you want to pitch it up an octave. What this is going to do is it's going to give you that more sparkly reverb, okay? And then just start playing with the decay. You can do pretty big. And the size, which is going to change like the size of the room, how like dense that reverb is. I played around with a little brightness and I was able to get this really cool tone. But one extra thing is this big mix knob is always going to change the characteristic of the sound, because this is beautiful as like a lush pad, but watch what happens when I dial it back and fuse it with the original layer. You get a whole nother sound that sounds honestly just as good. As you can see, we kept that beautiful lush wonderland, but when you dialed it back, you got those original melodies back. And honestly, this is a cool way to kind of custom or very special design reverb and textures to your sound. This is like one of our secret weapons when it comes to making melodies. If you guys are fans of the microcosm, this can do a lot of similar stuff and is sort of a digital brother to that plugin. And once you have something like this, one cool part, you can go back to the original sound, pitch it around, and immediately that lush pad will change. Let me show you. I'm gonna go up an octave. I'm gonna show you one more example that I thought was really great with the same effect. Okay, so I'm gonna play the after with that same shimmer reverb. I could play with this thing all day. This is probably my favorite part about Pluto, and it's one of the special reasons that it is my favorite Cymatics plugin. Okay, so one little bonus tip with this plugin, a lot of times when you're using the granular delay, you're using the reverb, it's almost like there's these big, long, wet tails of just lush sounds and effects and different textures. With there being all that extra sound, one really fun thing to do to the sound is honestly add some volume automation after that in the processing chain. So after Pluto, I'm actually putting in LFO tool just to show you how you can pump those sounds really hard and get some cool effects. You can play with the mix on it because, you know, a lot of stuff I don't like to have 100% regardless what it is. Just a little bonus tip there if you want to add a little extra movement after Pluto. One last little secret tip, down here on the bottom right, there is a little down arrow. A lot of people don't know, but it's a little advanced menu that you can change just to put a little bit of a low pass or high pass on the different effects modules. So if you want to go in real quick, for example, I can just add this low pass to this sound. Or high pass. It can be very useful down there. There's also a mix knob. A lot of times I just do it in my FL mixer, but if you want to do the main mix, you can do it here as well. And just a little secret tip, if you really want to get nerdy with the sound design, which, you know, I've been doing a lot lately. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you learned a lot about Pluto. If you guys don't have Pluto already, you can get it for $75 in the Cymatics store. This is a plugin I use literally on almost everything and I've been using for years now. Not to mention, we usually run specials. So if you go to the page and there's some sort of special deal, I would highly suggest taking advantage of it while it's there. And I didn't even go over the presets. This thing has tons of different presets that our team has designed. So even if you don't want to get too nitty gritty with the sound design, you can just go in there, use the presets and get lots of cool effects. So let me just show you a couple examples. It's really incredible what this thing can do. You know, these presets even take the plugin in a completely different direction than what I do with it, you know? So it's really cool to do that. And when you get that knowledge, you can combine them, right? Flip through the presets and then start to customize them and save your own. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This plugin, I'm telling you, is a powerhouse. It's something that'll take every single melody you have, especially if you're trying to get placements and you always want to spice up, add your own touch to things, or, you know, you just want to take your sounds to the next level, right? Because with something like this, as you guys saw, I was using raw serum. I wasn't even doing crazy sound design in a synthesizer, right? I was just doing everything post-process with Pluto, and that's the powerful thing about this plugin. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go check out this plugin, and I can't wait to hear what you guys make with it. Peace.